Well, you bring up an interesting point, and let's jump on this now. I was going to bring it up later, but we see this camp of Bitcoin maximalists. They call themselves that, and that really means, obviously not the Bitcoin Cash, but the Bitcoin maximalist. And we saw the conference in Miami a few months ago, right? And my buddy Max Kaiser was on there, Saylor was there, and everyone there. And you see this group of people that only believe in Bitcoin, and they don't want to even talk about anything else. And it almost boggled my mind. And I mean, I'm good friends with Max. He came to my house for Thanksgiving, but it's really been hard getting him on the show because he said, look, Bitcoin won, everything else is a shit coin. I don't want anything to do with this. It's over. It's over. And I'm like, but wait a second. There's other things happening here. You have to admit the Ethereum blockchain, there's smart contracts happening. You have to admit what's happening with these DEXs. You have to admit there's innovation happening out there. You'd be a fool not to. And, Roger, even when I spoke with Michael Saylor, and we can talk more about those points as well, he even admitted, he said, look, I think he believes Bitcoin is cryptocurrency and digital property, but he said we will need a currency, and that currency will be a stable coin. And I said, okay, well, that stable coin will be based on a smart contract platform. And he said, yeah, you're probably right. Ethereum's going to be part of this ecosystem in some way. So it was nice to see a potential maximalist talking about other issues, but it also worries me that there are these really vehement camps out here that seem not to want to embrace what we all want, at least what I think we all want, Roger, which is freedom, right? Which is governments not being involved in our lives, which is a lack of censorship, which is something I think we all want. And yet, unfortunately, we're seeing camps develop, and the way you're telling it now, even the currency we think is now free is not. Is this an issue going forward, and is it going to be a problem?
It was a giant issue, and it delayed the adoption of cryptocurrency around the world by years, if not a decade there. It's really been a disaster. And I think a great analogy of these Bitcoin maximalists here, that they say, oh, it's only Bitcoin and it won and the game is over. It would be like a bunch of people that owned MySpace stock. And at one point, MySpace was, it was the social network that everybody was on. But for people that were using MySpace at that time, we remember when the page load times became really, really slow, and it became really hard to use MySpace. And at that point, it was the dominant social network. But then when the user experience became, slow and unreliable on MySpace, suddenly, boom, everybody jumped over to Facebook. And I guarantee you that if Facebook's user experience became really slow and unreliable, if they start censoring so much that there's a revolt, people are going to move to the next thing. And but that's a good thing. When people move to a new and better product that's more reliable, that's fantastic. And I used to have a BlackBerry. At the time, it was a great phone. My iPhone today is much better than the BlackBerry. And I'm sure probably later this year, an even better version of my current iPhone is going to come out. That's a good thing. That's called progress. And so Bitcoin came out at one point. Well, that's great. Well, then other cryptocurrencies like Ethereum or Bitcoin Cash or Monero or take your pick came out that work even better as peer-to-peer uncensorable cash for the world. That's a good thing. And if something even better than those comes out next month, that's a great thing. That's how humankind makes progress. And to sit there in your chair and saying, oh, Bitcoin already won and everything else is pardon my French, a S-coin, that's just crazy talk, right? We want new and better technologies to come out into the world. That's how humankind makes progress. And we're seeing it happen at an amazing pace, though, in the DeFi space and the cryptocurrency space, because it's uncensorable. It can't be stopped. The only way to stop this stuff would be to turn off the entire internet in the entire world and keep it turned off. And that's not a practical thing to do at this point. So it's really exciting to see the pace of innovation happening in the space.